The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendlenewtech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information.
This is a test of the Boundary Park Alert System.
Hello and welcome to the Boundary Park Alert System with me, Matt Dean. I'm joined as always by my London correspondent, Andy Halliwell. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, and what a good morning it is.
It's beautiful. It's really sunny up here. It's a lovely day. I'll just give you a bit of context about my day yesterday, Andy. We had a slightly unusual pre-match warm-up routine, or warm-down routine, actually. I went for a full body massage yesterday morning, or yesterday lunchtime. But unlike the game, it didn't have a happy ending. The game had a very happy ending, didn't it? But the massage was just a standard full body.
Have we got a Georgian advert just about to pop in?
No. I'll just be clear. I went with Harriet. We went together. We had a massage at the same time. I did say to her, if mine goes on for an extra 10 minutes, don't worry. But it didn't. We ended at the same time, and it was just all standard. It felt very, very relaxed afterwards. It was rather. Shout out to Holly. I think it's called Tranquil or something on Middleton Road. And it's not an advert. I'm just saying it was very nice anyway. And yes, I was like all chilled, super zen. You know, we're zen anyway at the best of times, aren't we, Andy? But going into that match yesterday, super zen, and the lads did not disappoint. So, but before we come on to that, we do have a fan guest, and you can tell us because you were there, Andy. I seen it. Did you see your feature on the Twitter reel with one of your boys there down the front? I noticed this morning.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. My youngest lad wanted to go down and clap the team off, so I went and put him on the advertising boards, and we were on the video, so it's nice for him. I've shown him the video this morning. He's well pleased with himself. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, and both the lads got a picture with Tom Pett, didn't they, as well after the game? I presume, was it?
He was. I assume he was because he's obviously from North London, isn't he? Him and his family are all big Arsenal fans, aren't they? I think he's from Potter's Bar, which is just on the north tip of London. I assume he was going home to see his family because he was travelling back with us on the train into London. So that's where we got that picture from. Yeah,
right, good stuff. And it's all smiles all round after yesterday. So somebody else who I believe was there yesterday was the fan guest. But before we find out who that is, let's do the usual intro, please, Andy.
Yeah, returning fan guest, one of the Oasis crowd. Obviously, an easy one to pick an Oasis fan guest from, given it's on our doorstep broadly. So tell us, when was your first game, fan guest?
Morning, Matt. Morning, Andy. My first game was Boxing Day 1989 when Oldham played Port Vale at Boundary Park.
2-0 win?
I think it was 2-1.
Okay.
Memory, but I was only 7. So, time may have diluted that memory somewhat.
Who was your first favourite player then from that era?
Definitely John Holworth.
No, you were a keeper. Were you a keeper?
I was. Yes, yeah. And I actually met him on my 10th birthday. I had my 10th birthday at Boundary Park. And, I got to meet John and all the players when they came back for pre-season training.
The captain, as he was known. I've never really got to the bottom of that nickname. Why was he called the captain? Because he wasn't the captain. Anyone know?
No idea.
I'll tell you who will know. Paul Prendergast will tell us why he was called the captain. What is your favourite? And bearing in mind, you and I, James, are part of the Oasis crowd. We tend to do more away games than home games, so you'll have quite a few to choose from here, one assumes. What is your favourite ever away game?
I actually enjoyed Torquay away, the first game. I know it was back in the National League, but it just felt like a cloud had lifted and there was cause for optimism. First game of the season, sun was shining, the away end was packed out, and it just felt like we finally had something to look forward to after 4 years that were nothing but negative.
And it ended 0-0.
It did. Yes.
Fantastic away game to pick. I understand the sentiment though. And give us a little known fact about yourself.
I think I've probably said this before. Actually, no, I've got a different one. So last April, Andy, I think you're aware of this, for nothing more than my own curiosity, I travelled from Land's End to John O'Groats purely by public buses. Don't ask me why I did it. So it was pure curiosity, but I did make a lot of money for charity. And the Guinness World Record is pending.
Oh, man, fantastic. May I ask how long it took?
It took me a week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, left Land's End on the Wednesday morning and got to John O'Groats the following Wednesday afternoon.
How many buses did you have to catch?
I think it was 48 in total.
All right.
And I did get to pass through Oldham. So, one night I was able to stay at my parents in Middleton. Yeah. So don't ask me why I did it. Just pure curiosity.
Well done. Well, yeah.
So come on then. Who are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah.
So no, sorry,
we've got a bit of a lag there.
Himself.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, so yeah. So James White, 43 years old, lived down in London, not far from Andy, just the other side of the Thames. As I grew up in Middleton, being an Oldham supporter, say since I was 7 years old. First game I got taken to by my dad, and been supporting him ever since, as do the rest of the family now. Most recently, my 4-year-old nephew, I think Andy's away, his other granddad was a Manchester United fan. So I had to nip that in the bud very, very quickly. So, got him he's had a season ticket for the past few years, and he's absolutely obsessed with Mike Fondop at the moment, as we all are. Yes, another excuse to go into the games.
It's like passing on a defective gene, isn't it? You know, and he's passed it on to his two boys. It's like a hereditary. It's like, sorry, guys. There's nothing I can do about this. This is just just the way it was meant to be.
Exactly.
Go on, Andy.
I've got my lads at school. Like my eldest lad, he's pushing 9 now, so they're all very aware of where you are in the pyramid and the relative success of clubs. And so it's starting at this point where he's saying to me, you know, his mates are all, you know, there's an odd Brentford fan, but there's plenty of Chelsea, United, Liverpool, City all dotted about. And I keep saying to him, I'm just sort of training him with the phrases to reply with when he says, well, such a person at school says we're rubbish. And I'm like, okay, right. I'm just going to count how many games you've been to. It's approaching 40 games you've been to. I want you to ask Sebastian when you get back to school exactly how many Liverpool games he's attended. And I bet the answer is none. And you literally end the conversation there. And so he's doing it now. He's starting to do it now, and he's getting a bit of traction with it, which is good fun.
Good stuff. That's it. It's all part and parcel of being a football fan. You've got to be well equipped with good banter, and takedowns. It's part of the game. But yesterday there was no need. Well, certainly from the Oldham end, what was it? 285 was. They're all travelling fans or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's a long way from up here. We could hear you loud and clear on the stream yesterday. So fair play. You were making plenty to cheer about. I was going to say there was no need for, calling the players and stuff like that. Not from our side. The Gillingham fans were none too happy yesterday. But it doesn't get any better if you're travelling. I mean, it's a trek wherever you come from, I'm sure, to get to Kent, but. If you've travelled all the way down from Oldham or wherever you've gone for a 3-0 away win, absolutely fantastic. Who wants to kick us off? James, how was yesterday?
I mean, as away day goes, it doesn't get much better. Andy mentioned there were 285 fans officially. I was actually sat in the Gillingham end yesterday. So there were 286 as far as I'm concerned. Another 300 fans sat in front of me. I went with a very old friend I've known for about 20 years who's a Gillingham fan. And it was actually the first time we've ever managed to get to a game. And, you say the Gillingham fans weren't happy. Well, when that second goal went in, A couple of Gillingham fans started fighting, sat behind the rough Wales, and had to be marched out. And I think that set the tone for the rest of the day. Really, we were always in control. I thought we definitely spotted a weakness in their back four pre-game, and for the first 20 minutes we exploited it. I think Mellon hit the nail on the head when he said the first half was a game of two halves, because the last 20-25 minutes of the first half, Gillingham came back into it. Matt Hudson again made some very good saves, and I think we were glad for half time to come round. Second half, Gillingham huffed and puffed. I think they wasted a couple of chances. Hudson made another couple of good saves. I thought Kavanagh could possibly have done a little bit better with the opportunity he had at 2-0. I think he didn't realise how much time he had and space after a nice little bit of football. And then obviously, Ollie Hammond gets the ball through to Fondop, and he made no mistake this time, as he did at Wembley, by dinking the ball past the keeper. 3-0. And then after that, when you're hearing the away fans doing the olays when Oldham have got the ball, and booing when they've got the ball themselves, then you've done a good job, don't you?
Yeah, it was. They started the game really, really well. We should have gone up 1-up just before we went 1-up. What a ball from Caprice to Kavanagh! That was such a good ball from Caprice. Had a much better game yesterday, I thought, than he had he has been of late. That pass, and for Kavanagh, all he has to do is pull it across for Fondop, and it's a goal. I can understand where Kavanagh's coming from. He's desperate for his first goal. He's clear through with the sight on goal, although from a very tight angle. But he should have done what was best for the team in that instance and squared it for Fondop, and Fondop would have made it 1-0. But literally seconds later, he puts the ball in the net, and it's 1-0 again. More good work from Caprice on the overlap. Questionable keeping, I think, but the same thing can be said. I thought what I enjoyed about yesterday was we took our chances when we got them. We took those chances. They weren't classics. Like Fondop's goal was a good goal, really good finish. It was hard to tell how Kavanagh's finished, but he took his chance. Mon took his chance, and we just we played as a team, a full team. We took our chances up top, defended well. Hudson, like you said, was absolutely superb. Like, he just wasn't going to concede a goal yesterday. I think it just didn't matter. It didn't matter how good Gillingham thought they could be. Hudson was going to be equal to it. He was fantastic. I think we can come on to the conversation about how much he's worth and whether he's going to be playing for Latics next season a bit later on in the podcast. But in terms of performances today, I mean, you guys were much closer to the action, Andy. The spirit of the team, the work rate, the performance, was it just? I mean, like I think I agree with that sentiment. I thought once we were 2-up, it's always tempting for teams just to take the foot off the throttle in it, and Gillingham did really have us up against the wall really, towards the end of that first half. And I think if they'd have scored, it might have been a different second half, but we managed to cling on. What impressed you most about the performance yesterday, Andy?
There were less square pegs in round holes yesterday, weren't there? Probably would be one observation to make. I like the look of the lineup. Could you tell me whether you thought we were playing 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2? What did you think, Sully?
I thought it was like a 4-4-1-1 almost with Fondop. And it's how Fondop and Kavanagh. It was definitely flat back four.
It was definitely flat back four, yeah. But it was quite fluid because, as you point out, it would morph into 4-1-4-1, 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2. There was lots and lots of movement across the pitch, so there was always a pass on because the team were moving around a lot, and that was the, instead of being often when we've looked poor recently, people are receiving the ball in a static position. They're standing still when they receive it. Then they take a touch and then pass it to another player who's standing still to receive it. People were receiving the ball to run onto yesterday. It was in front of them. Stevens looked really dangerous. I really like the look of Stevens.
I tell you what, we're causing them loads of hassle yesterday, Andy, talking about Stevens and that left-hand side, is when we had the ball up the left-hand side with Robson and Stevens, Drummond was coming over from the right-hand side to to link up and join the play. He was coming in. I noticed it several times where, so we've got bodies, we've got to. They were you're exactly like you were saying. Rather than Drummond staying out on the right hand side, he was coming over and getting involved, and all of a sudden we've got more men. We're overloading them and we're creating chances. So it seems like you're right. There was a lot more, like there've been more coaching involved and more application of that coaching on the pitches today.
Yeah, and so I liked the look of us when it looked to me. Kavanagh was kind of just dropping a little bit, slightly bit deeper than Fondop, who was the most advanced, and then he kind of had Drummond and Stevens tucking in either side. So it looked like 4-2-3-1 at times. So the fact that you weren't playing Tom Pett right wing, for it as an example, right side of midfield, was helpful to Tom Pett. I thought they all contributed yesterday. I thought that you couldn't. They all had a good game. It was a good. Mellon's got to take credit for the way he set the team up, I think, and I thought that we played pretty well. I mean, if I'm going to pick out one or two, Hudson is exceptional keeper at our level, and all those people that were calling, saying he wasn't up to it, it's miles off. He's got better. I agree. He wasn't as good as he is now a year ago, but that's with age. He's maturing.
Playing every game on him makes a big difference.
And you also have to. So when you're looking at the raw attributes that he showed last season, and maybe even the season before, even though he had a rick in him, he has less mistakes in him. Touch wood now, he'll probably do one the next game, but like he just has less mistakes. He looks more assured. He's not getting beat at his near post like he had been before. A lot of the saves yesterday were relatively routine, but he didn't get beat. Apart from that one that deflected and he had to spin back down again was a great save. He was exceptional. I thought Manny Month was absolutely superb yesterday. Got goal aside, he was very assured at the back. He did that thing where the ball drops out the sky and he traps it on his toe and then wanders around somebody where he lost it the other week and looked poor. He did that yesterday and looked brilliant. Donovan Daniels was better.
Yeah, definitely.
Pett and Woods were better in the centre midfield as well. I still think we lack legs in there a bit, but it was the right decision to drop Kai Payne. I thought Stevens looked a real threat. I'm a massive fan of Stevens. I think he's going to be. He needs to bulk out a bit, doesn't he? He's a bit too sort of weak in a tackle, but he's lithe and quick and can drop his shoulder. And he linked up well with Robson. But the other one is I thought Mike Fondop was absolutely brilliant yesterday. I really enjoyed Mike Fondop's performance. And I've been critical of him in the past, and in the same way that some people have been critical of Hudson, and you have to accept he was. I thought Mike Fondop was brilliant. He led the line brilliantly. He won loads of headers. He laid the ball off at the right time. He didn't give it away very much. And his finish, like you said, when he was running on the keeper, I could see Wembley in my mind. I was like, don't miss. Lovely finish. Over the keeper. Yeah. So, massive credit. For me, the two standout players were Hudson and Fondop. Great performance.
Which is what we've been saying it, for the weeks that we've had a bit of a struggle, we accepted that you go through a little bit of a bad run of form, but you've got to be. It epitomises it. It's what we've been saying. You've got to be solid at the back, and you've got to take your chances. And the fact that it was Hudson and Fondop who were the two best players yesterday just goes to show. James, how have you been feeling over recent weeks with the? We were on a 6-match unbeaten run. Then we lost 3 on the bounce, conceded 9 goals. Where were you at the end of that run? After the Swindon game, how were you feeling?
Obviously, we had that very good run. I was at Barnet, where I don't know how we lost that game. I wasn't at Cambridge United, but by all accounts, it was terrible game. I was at Swindon. Obviously, nobody 3-0 defeat, missing a penalty. We could have played all week and not scored. I think Andy touched on it before. I think Mellon's been guilty at times this season of playing too many square pegs in round holes. And for what really jumped out at me, midweek, a bit less so than yesterday, was we've got players playing in the right positions. I don't think you can ever put Woods, Payne and Pett in the same team. And up until yesterday, I wasn't quite sure what the best 2 out of 3 were. For yesterday, Woods and Pett were the perfect foil. I think Gillingham's midfield was terrible. and didn't give him much of a chance. But ultimately, we came up into the league late. I noticed the National League playoff final dates were announced a few days ago, and it's mid-April or late April. It's a month.
The finals 10th of May, I think, this time.
So it's a lot sooner. So the fact that we didn't know which division we were going to be playing in until June was a setback. It did make things challenging. So for me, this season was always about making sure we re-established ourselves in the Football League, and it's League Two. It's any team can beat any team on a day. You look at teams like Cambridge, you get on a roll, you get a little bit of consistency, you'll fly up the league. We've been guilty of, probably 3 steps forward, 2 steps back most of the season. I think the biggest thing we need to do is decide what we're going to do with Mellon. I've got my opinions. I'm sure everyone else has got theirs. But
and
we're not going to go now.
Your opinion is what, James? I
think we renew him. I think he's earned the opportunity for an extension. He got us out back into the Football League. I know that was his prime aim. Again, I know some of what we've seen out on the pitch this season hasn't been great, but I think we've got to give him the opportunity to have a full off season of us as a Football League club to put his stamp on the team. There's going to be a little bit of turnover of players this summer. Those players that we gave 2-year contracts to when we're still in the National League will move on. I know we've got a few other players who, it's not going to be a complete reset. We're now in a position where we're offering players 2, even 3-year contracts. You talk about Matt Hudson. He's got another 2 years. Do we need to sell him? I'd like to think we wouldn't have to.
You don't have to, but if you want to maximise the value for him, I'm afraid you probably have to think about it this summer if people are prepared to.
That was the point I wanted to bring up about Hudson at some point today. We might as well talk about it now. I think if you're going to cash out on him, it has to be with 2 years on his contract.
Correct.
Once you could get another brilliant season out of him next season, but then you've only got 1 year left on the contract, and clubs aren't going to offer as much. You're buying out the contracts as well as the players. So, I think this will be his last season personally. If the money's right,
and I think the money's got to be right.
Yeah.
It's got to be significant, and
Well, all the clubs that have been linked with him prior to sort of now have been League One clubs, the likes of a Wigan or a Huddersfield. I think are names of clubs that have been mentioned. But we're going
to be League Two next season, Andy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That'd be good, that, wouldn't it?
Brilliant.
Good game to go to. Been a while since I've been there, and. On Hudson, I think that there may well be Championship clubs having a look now, and so that bodes well for value, doesn't it?
We're the fire experts, fire safety experts at Pendle New Tech. We train fire marshals, fire safety marshals at Pendle New Tech.
Pendle New Tech have fire experts across the UK covering all your local and national needs. With over 100 years experience in the fire safety industry, you know that you can trust
Pendle New Tech.
Right, enough of that now.
Yeah,
and again, like you were saying, James, about having a proper pre-season to, and maybe with an extra few $100,000 on his budget as well with the sale of Matt Hudson. So, I mean, myself and Andy, I think are with you on that one. He's earned the right, and I don't know what he's had to say yet. We'll have a listen to him. We might as well bring him in now and listen to the conversation with Alan from the club. But
it gives me an opportunity, because I've heard it already. It gives me an opportunity just to watch the cricket briefly, because you'll be you'll be delighted to know that England are playing Sri Lanka in the World T20 Cup, won't you, Matt?
Is that right, Andy? Wow. What I will say before, and this is absolutely lovely, is before you press play, obviously every week it's kind of set, ready to press play, and I can see Mickey's face, and he's got the biggest grin. He's giving such a nice smile to Alan. that, you know, he's obviously absolutely delighted, and you know, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. So let's listen to Mickey Mellon.
Mickey, a really accomplished win this afternoon. What pleased you most about it?
Well, obviously the scoring 3 goals and winning, but I think we started the game really well, Al. So for the first sort of 25 minutes, we were excellent, and then we stopped pressing, we stopped getting to the ball, stopped winning the contacts, and kind of let them back in. And Matty's made a couple of really important saves for us that could have changed things at half time, but it never happened. But we had a chat to him at half time, and we started to get up to the ball, started to put it under pressure, started to look a lot busier, and started to get the contacts, and scored some really, really good goals. Really delighted for the supporters. I've come such a long way, and I really mean that. Came such a long way, and it's great to see them happy at the end there, and we want to continue to try and do that for them.
2 goals, I think, in the first 17 minutes, and there was a real purpose to that start, wasn't there?
Yeah, we've spoke about that and worked on what we did. I don't want to give too much away, but that's no me trying to be clever. It's just I don't want other managers to sort of watch and see what we do. But no, we speak about that all the time, and we could have had a couple more. We got into some other good positions, and there's still improvement to be made from us, and that's the exciting thing. And then we've got to find that level of consistency, which frustrates us at times, because that's what we're capable of, and we've got to try and get up and around the performances all the time. That's what I keep speaking about. If you're going to close the gap on that top group of teams as clubs, then you've got to be up and around that type of performance all the time, and we're well capable of it. And that's what when I'm saying close the gap was closed today, but you've got to be consistently hitting the levels of performance in order to get great results like tonight.
You mentioned that you spoke to them after at half time. How pleased were you with how we closed it out in the second half?
Very well. I mean, it was as good a second half performance away from home as you're going to see. There was everything in it. Really good togetherness as well. Really hard work. People putting in the hard yards, and then again the boys coming off the bench helping us to get it over the line. So all in all, a really satisfying performance. And like I say, it was great to see the players and the supporters celebrating at the end, because that's what I try and do. I want to try and win games of football for Oldham and for the people who support us, and that's a nice moment for us.
Callum Cavanagh's not been here long, but it's always important for a striker to get their first goal and a real poach just finished, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've spoken about it. I've said that's what they're here for. All chipping in with goals, so it makes a cracking goal. I'm really, really pleased for him, because they're I mean, I give them a wee bit of no stick, but I told them what their jobs was all about, and I said, you've got to score goals. They keep coming in to see me and saying they want to play, and I said, we'll score goals, and we're all happy, for them this evening.
You mentioned how assured the performance was, but obviously a big contribution from Matt Hudson at important times as well.
It goes without saying, at 2-0, like I said, I'm always honest when I stand here and assess our team. We stopped doing the things that was necessary in order to keep any kind of control in the game. We stopped pressing from the front. We opened up and allowed them to come inside the shape too often, and that allowed. And it was here to see what a good goalkeeper Matty is. I don't want him to see what a good goalkeeper Matty is. I want Matty to be idle. But when called upon, he's done that many times for us, and made some real crucial saves. And there was some good blocks as well in that first half. But like I say, we know what we didn't do enough of, and that was important. In the second half, they came out and they did more of it, and we got a really satisfying victory.
You've said throughout the season that this group is capable of good things. Is this further evidence of that?
I've said all season that they have to find a level of consistency. I've said all season that there's a level of performance that's in this division that the top teams are consistent with, and I've said often that we have fell short of that level, and that's been frustrating, because you can see from the last couple of performances that we've had that we're able to do that. But if you're going to be successful, you have to find a level of consistency in every game. And we've certainly showed today the way to be able to do that. And now it's about us driving them on and saying, no, we have to keep going. We've won a game of football, but you've got to be doing it all the time. Because I keep saying that's what I expect. That's what we expect at Oldham. We expect to win games of football. We expect to perform like we did today. And if you don't, you will be get questioned. But certainly the last few performances we've certainly did that.
In terms of consistency, getting 7 points from the last 3 games is what you want, isn't it? It's getting there.
Yeah, it's good. We should have had more. But like I say, I look at the performance and I say, right, okay, we've all seen it. And I'm on them all the time to do more of it. And if we can find that level, we keep using that word consistently, but that's what it's about, then you can close that gap in the top teams, because the top teams, Alan, trust me, will be doing that more and most of the time. So that's what you've got to be able to do if you're going to be at the top end, is find that level of performance in order to be at the top end of it.
Well done today.
Thank you, Alan.
A word that came up a lot there, we've mentioned it ourselves, was consistency. Is there an argument now that in terms of this season? I don't think it matters too much this season. I think this season is you're finding out who in your squad is up to League 2 level. You mentioned it, Andy, about square pegs in round holes. I think going into certainly from the end of this season now and into next season, do we as a club and as a team need to find more consistency in terms of our formation, the way we play, players fit in the system, rather than there has been a lot of changing. There's been a lot of change in formation. There's been a lot of players playing in different positions. We can argue till the cows come home whether that's the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do, whether that's Mellon's fault that we've dropped points here, whether it's the players' fault, whatever. But do you think going into next season now we need to be sort of like saying, yeah, this is how we play. These are the players that we, when we're talking about who's coming and going in the squad pod at the end of the season, Andy, and we're thinking about who we're going to be signing, do we want to know that, it's a 4-4-2 kind of that wingers? Is that what we need to be doing? Is that Mellon's job now going into next season, do you think?
I mean, every time you listen to any manager speak, Mickey Mellon will be no different. They all talk about being able to play a number of different ways and a number of different formations, don't they? 2 or 3 different formations. So I'm not a professional football manager, so I don't possibly know. Particularly, I'd just like to see it. I've had a little look on social media this morning, and it doesn't take you long before you find 1 or 2 people saying, "Hey, we're only 11 points off the playoffs." and then we'll lose a couple of games, and it'll all be well, we're only we've still not got enough points to stay. The sort of violent swing from one position to another is sort of the preserve of a football fan on social media. I'm not saying we're any different, but I think the way I look at this is I never thought we were going to go up. I never thought we were going to go. Well, I never thought we were going to down. I didn't know how we would fare, but once the season had set its die a little bit, the cast was died a little bit. We sort of knew that we weren't going to go down. So I was kind of comfortable with mid-table. With one eye on for next season. So one of the things he's got to do for me is it's not necessarily sticking to exactly the same formation, I don't think, because it depends who you're playing and who's available and fit and what have you. I'd just like to see all of the squad players have a reasonable go at some point between now and the end of the season so that we can confidently say which players we think should remain or be leaving. Now, he might say, well, I don't need to do that because I see them every day at work in training and I know who's up to it and not up to it. Fair enough. I don't. So, and he's professional and I'm not. But I think it would just be good to see in a competitive environment, we get to see, I was pleased to see Will Sutton get recalled. There was absolutely no point in him sitting on Solihull's bench, right? You might as well sit on ours. I know he wasn't on it yesterday, but I'd like to see him have a little run in the team at some point as well to make a decision about whether he can. He's got a year on his contract. He's with us next season, in theory.
Did you see
I'd
that
like
little?
To see all those players.
Did you see that little moment between him and Ollie Hammond yesterday? Just if you watch the highlights, where after the goal, Hammond goes running over, and just how delighted Will Sutton was for Ollie Hammond to be involved in the goal. Players who were on the fringe, who are struggling to get places, but you can see that it still means a lot to them in that moment. And that's so important. And I think it's the same with Mickey Mellon. I think he wants to be at Latics for the right reasons. You know what I mean? He's not there because, he wants to be part of it. I think he likes being involved with the players. It's a good setup that they've got there with the players, the manager, the owners. And that's a really good foundation for next season. So I think the foundations are there. And I think players like Will Sutton, who it genuinely means a lot to be involved at Latics, he's come through the ranks. I think having the people there that are there for the right reasons is really, really important. And you can build on that. So I'm pleased he's back as well.
Yeah, so that's me. For me, my sort of take on it is let's have a look at Hammond, Hawks, Sutton. Give them some game time between now and the end of the season, so we can, everyone can confidently sort of have a view on who really should form part of that squad next season. Because, I thought you mentioned Jake Caprice's pass yesterday. I thought the way that they set up, both fullbacks overlapped Drummond and Stevens nicely yesterday, particularly in that first half, or the first half of the first half, where we looked good. So that was good to see, because Caprice has been rubbish for weeks for me, as has Pep for the last fortnight. And so it's good to see that those players can still perform. But you're going to have some very tough decisions to make come the end of the year about whether you keep some of these players or not, especially those that are out of contracts, obviously, because you want them to be consistently performing at that level. Like Mickey's just referenced in his interview there, it's no good doing it 1 in 4 games. You've got to do it 3 in 4 games, haven't you? In order to propel us up the league. And who can he trust to do that, given that some of them are getting a bit older? Those are the decisions to make, aren't they? But all in all, it was a really good day out yesterday. I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of, I had a chat to a few people yesterday. Who did I speak to? I chatted to Nathan Knowles, Brad's brother. They didn't put the booze bus on yesterday because they couldn't get enough people for it. And that's obviously interesting, isn't it? Because he was saying, we could get enough people for Eastleigh on a Tuesday, but we can't get enough people for Gillingham on a Saturday. Why is that? It's probably because there is nothing to fight for this season. We're not going up, we're not going down. So people are possibly saving a bit of money and waiting for it to be more meaningful. I kind of get that. But I've got no problem with it this season, given that it's a bit of a reset season. I had a chat to a lad called Ian, who I'll give a shout out to. He lives in Ashford in Kent. Podcast listener. Avid podcast listener. So shout out to him. But everyone was in good spirits. It was a good away day. It felt like spring a little bit yesterday. It was slightly warmer and just good feeling. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we fare next season. I've got one eye on it. I think some of the decisions we're going to have to make are about recruitment. We've got all these stats products that we've purchased, but the recruitment department is very much Terry McPhillips, Brabin and Mellon. Do we need to have a little look at how we recruit next season, possibly with a slightly different eye on it, maybe? Should we be looking to blood more youth players? Definitely, do we consider cashing in on Hudson if we've got the right offer? All those decisions. It'll be an interesting summer, I think, this summer, to see where we go.
Yeah, James. I think we were all kind of like happy if we were competitive this division this season in this division, and we definitely have been competitive. We've had a few games where we've lost comfortably, 3-1 away at Notts County, 3-0 Swindon and Cambridge. But on the whole, we've been very competitive, I'd say. We've been in most games. What do you expect from looking ahead to next season? Where do you think the club will be? What do you think, if we assuming Mellon stays, what are your expectations for our second season in League Two?
I don't expect there to be a huge overturn of players like we used to have in the past. When we're in the Football League previously, signing players on 1-year deals, season to season, it was a completely new starting 11 a lot of the time. I think next year we need to expect to be challenging. Not necessarily for the title. It depends who comes down from League One, who remains in our division, but certainly pushing for a playoff pace as minimum. If we keep Mellon, we've got the spine of a team, I think, under contract for next year. And then, like I say, it's going through and making decisions on those individuals whose contracts are up. whether or not, we offer them another year or two, or we just shake hands and say, thank you very much. You've ultimately done what we needed you to do, which was get us back into the Football League, re-establish ourselves as a Football League club. But now's the time for us to, to move on and look elsewhere.
I think coming back to the Hudson thing, I think, if somebody's coming in with an offer, you've got to say, look, next season, our aim is to get promoted. Whether it's via the playoffs or whether it's finished, you've got 3 automatic places in this division. So, you're going for third. Let's just say you've got a championship club coming in for us. I don't know whoever it is. You're saying, look, this is our promotion goalkeeper. This is the quality of goalkeeper we need to get out of this division. So you've got no guarantees you're going to be able to replace him with someone of the same quality. So that's how valuable Matt Hudson is to us this season and next season. So it would be absolutely foolish to let him go for anything other than whatever the market value is for a goalkeeper of that quality. But he's very, very important foundation for our promotion push next season. And it has to be a promotion push next season. And the thing, yes, there was not only was yesterday very relaxing and I enjoyed a lovely massage. I watched Oldham win 3-0 away at Gillingham. Tranmere got hammered 5-0 at Notts County, which is always good for a giggle. And Salford got beat by Cheltenham. And Salford, I'm delighted to say, are having an absolute mare of it at the minute. They've dropped from 3rd down to 8th. They've lost 4 of the last 5 games. And so it just shows like this. It's a really, really tough division, and Walsall are in 9th. So teams that were doing much better in the season, they have a wobble, and they do. They all have a wobble. Most of the teams have a wobble. There's 1 or 2 that are consistent and don't have serious wobbles, and those teams in this division so far are Bromley and Cambridge. Notts County are on a really strong run. It's really tough. That consistency thing is vitally important, and getting the right professionals in to be able to perform at that level week in, week out. I think the commentators on the Gillingham commentary yesterday, BBC Radio Kent, were saying about how much experience there is in the Oldham team. There is a lot of experience. I think we're probably going to need to have, like you said, a bit more youth, a bit more legs that are going to be able to play consistently through the season. Because the players are going to be the likes of Pett and Woods are another year older next season. That midfield, it's hard work playing centre midfield every week. So I think there are key areas. Obviously, Kavanagh's an investment. He's already a young lad. Fondop's got another year left on his contract, and we all know what we're going to get out of him. So I think it's positive. I think, like you said, James, we don't have to reshape the squad completely now, and this squad this season was never going to be good enough to mount a full-on promotion push, and reach those levels every week. But it's much better than it's better than the squad we had last season, which is better than the squad that we had the season before, which is better than the squad we had the season before. So I'm absolutely confident that's what Mickey Milner's doing. He's building better squads season after season. So I think we will have a go next season. Well, we need a bit more luck. We might need our better players to stay fit and things like that. But I think next season should be pretty good. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it as well. I think we've got some other decisions we've got to make. Like you see the news this week about Kane Drummond in the Liverpool Echo. I think it probably fair to say that it isn't the club's responsibility to ensure that an individual pays his societal dues through the court system. It is the individual's responsibility to do that. And
just to do I just clarify what the story is with Drummond for those who may not know?
So for those who haven't seen, Kane Drummond was charged with an offence in the courts over a year ago.
Before he was a Latics player, wasn't it?
Before we re-signed him, he was still contracted to Chesterfield, and he was involved in an affray. I don't know the exact charge, but he got a suspended prison sentence where he was required to do some community service, and he hasn't been doing that community service. So he's recalled to court last week, where he was given a dressing down, and his lawyer said in the court that he feared losing his place in the team if he didn't turn up to training, which some people could take an inference that that's the club's responsibility, and I'm saying, in my opinion, it is not. It is the individual's responsibility. And also, footballers don't work 7-hour shifts, right? So I'm sure he can find the time to do his community service in and around his football commitments. But that's going to need bottoming out, and because I think it'd probably be fair to say when we offered him a contract, we knew of that charge, because it had happened before. So it should be no surprise to anybody. But yeah, I think things like that need bottoming out, because you don't. If he doesn't do his community service, he will be sent to prison. Right? He definitely won't have a contract then. So we do need to sort a few of those things out, because it's a shame, really, because the lad has showed he really can contribute, I think, in the last few weeks, not only with the goals that he's recently scored, some absolute crackers, but also his just general threat and play with his pace. So hopefully that gets sorted and we don't have any of those issues, because you don't want those types of things to upset the culture at the club and the direction of travel. So yeah, I mean, look.
Well, clearly, Andy, as his employer, they need to sit. They need to sit down with him, have a word with him, and get it sorted.
Of course they do,
because he has a responsibility. He's under contract at the club. That responsibility is to play football, not to go to prison. So he needs to, and I'm sure that they will have. I'm sure that those who need to talk to him will have talked to him. So, put your ideas up, Kane. Get your community.
I'd also add to that, Matt. Obviously, Mickey Mellon, it's well known that he does the work he does, with education and community. It should be right up his alley. It should be, a 5-10 minute conversation to sort something like that out. So, let's hope it gets sorted out.
Yeah, and look, you can see that Kane's enjoying life at the minute. I believe he's got a child on the way. He's in the first team regularly, scoring. He's a fan favourite. He needs to make. It will. This is incredibly obvious thing to say, but going to prison will really put a dent in all that. So, Kane, sort yourself out, lad. Get yourself sorted and put that to bed.
Well, when you came on last time, James, how did you fare on Latics Mind?
I was trying to remember if I got 2 or 3, so not very well. And I'd love to say I've been swatting up on our reserve goalkeepers over the last 40 years and who our shirt sponsors were throughout the 1990s. But I'll be honest, Andy, I haven't. So I'm putting no pressure on myself.
Well, let's put him through his paces, Matt, and we'll see how he gets on, shall we?
Absolutely. And, being relaxed is the best state of mind to go into it with. So best of luck, James.
Thank you.
Latics Mind is sponsored by Oldham Athletic Supporters Foundation, investing in the fans, the club and the community. Join today at oasf.co.uk for just £12 a year. OASF, because we're stronger together.
Up to the present day, how many league games have Latics drawn this season?
10.
Wrong, it's 12. Which former Latics loanee also had spells at Chesterfield, Cardiff, Bradford and Bolton?
Pass.
Latics signed a right-back from Motherwell in 2016. Who was he?
I can picture him, but I can't remember his name.
Should we pass it then?
Pass, please. Yeah.
Pass. Which iconic Latics match saw this scoring pattern? 1-0, 1-1, a missed penalty, 1-2.
Oh, when we beat Fulham.
Correct. Where did Mickey Mellon start his managerial career?
Fleetwood.
Correct. Who was Latics manager from March 2009 to May 2009?
John Sheridan.
Wrong, it was Joe Royle. What was the name of the centre-back that Latics loaned from Blackburn this season?
Alston.
Charlie Olsen. I'll give you that. Just
Altrincham now. Yeah.
Which former Preston, West Brom, and Leeds defender signed permanently for Latics in January 2007?
Sean Gregan.
Correct. Michael Mellon is Latics' top scorer this season with 10 in all competitions. But who is second top scorer?
It's not Stevens, is it?
It's Luke Hannant with 4. Which former Latics winger also had spells with Rochdale, Eastbourne, and Chelmsford?
I know he played in the final at Wembley. He was the guy who hit the long ball, signing from Rochdale. I can picture his name, but I can't pronounce it. Begins with a Z.
We'll pass it and see if Matt can get it right. You scored 3 correct there, so on par with your last performance. Few passes. Which former Latics loanee also had spells at Chesterfield, Cardiff, Bradford, and Bolton? Matt?
No idea, Andy.
Owen Doyle. Can you name the right back we signed from Motherwell in 2016?
I can't, Andy.
Funny that. Josh Law was the name of that player. And who made that pass at Wembley for James Norwood's goal, Matt?
Unchegbalum.
Jezeren Uchegbalum, James.
Yeah.
But you got 3, so that's not bad.
Are you giving him Alston?
What are you saying? You can be the adjudicator. Am I being a bit generous to an Oasis mate?
Did he get 3? Which ones did he get right?
He got Mickey Mellon's first managerial appointment. He got Fulham scoring pattern and Charlie Alston.
No, he also got Sean Gregan. He also got Sean Gregan.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, you're not having it then. You've just got 3.
No. He got 3. Yeah, Alston. No. Alston, unfortunately. But yeah, you were close. But yeah, you got 3. That's all right.
You know, I had a personal best, but I won't hold it against you, Andy.
No.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Good
there
stuff.
we go. Well done. So let's have a look what's coming up for Latics. We lost 3 on the bounce, right? After going 6 unbeaten. We've now gone 3 unbeaten with 2 wins. Got a chance to go 3 wins on the bounce with Crawley at home. Got to fancy us to beat Crawley at home, aren't we? 3 on the bounce next, isn't it? Surely that's the next little run.
You'd like to think so.
I think we've got, if you look at the remaining fixtures, there's a couple of tricky ones in there, isn't there? Like Bromley away on a Tuesday night is going to be a bit difficult. But actually, there's a lot of very winnable fixtures in there. Even some of the away days we've got look like games that we could pick up some points in. So, it'd be nice to clamber into the top half of the table if possible, wouldn't it? That would leave a slightly rosier sheen on the season, I think.
Definitely. I mean, we've got Tranmere coming up there having a nightmare. We've got teams above us like Grimsby that we can catch. Hopefully, maybe Chesterfield. So yeah, there is a hope that we'll climb that table. I think going into March.
Yeah.
Where do you reckon we might finish, James? Give us a prediction.
I mean, top 12. Let's say top half. Top half would be. I think Andy's not hit the nail on the head. We'll put a nice sheen on the season and say give us that foundation to move into next season. I think there's some very winnable games between now and the last end of the season. Your Newports, your Harrogates, Crawley on Saturday. Yeah, Bromley away is going to be a tough one. Notts County at home. But I'll come back to what I said before. It's an inconsistent division. It's League Two. Anyone can beat anyone on their day. And it's this time of year, every year, there's a team that gets on a run and just sneaks into those playoffs. So, I know it's highly unlikely. But until it's mathematically impossible, you got to keep the faith.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of who that team might be, I think Accrington Stanley have made great progress. They've lost 2 of the last 5, but they've been a bit more consistent. So I'm just not sure. I mean, Colchester are up in 10th, but if there is going to be a team like that does sneak in, then it'll need one of those other teams in the top 7 to drop. Salford are doing that at the minute. They're out of the top 8, so it'll need another one to drop out. But yeah, I think it'd just be nice to like you said, finish. Where did you say where did you predict, Andy? What position did you predict? Was it 12th?
I predicted 12th, Matthew. Yes.
Yeah. So that's. I mean, I was right last year with 5th. It'd be nice if one of us was right again this year. 12th, I think, is more likely than my 7th, but you never know. If we go on a blistering run, we could see it. But I think it'd be nice to just finish the season with more wins than draws and defeats. So I think that was the problem earlier on in the season is too many draws.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing we've got to look out for, I think it's usually March that we see next month that we see the club's accounts posted for the previous financial year, I think. Worth keeping an eye on that because you've got to bear that in mind. I've seen quite a few listen to some of these numbers. Some of these clubs' accounts are from when they were in League One, but clubs of a sort of similar stature, if you like. Bristol Rovers lost £7 million in 24-25. Cambridge 3.7, Leyton Orient 5 million, Lincoln 3 million, Wimbledon 2.5 million, Gillingham lost 5.8 million.
Wow.
Eye-wateringly large numbers that are unsustainable, aren't they? So
presumably that contributes to the atmosphere at Gillingham yesterday is that because they had new owners coming, didn't they, a couple of seasons ago, an American guy, and obviously there's been investment in the club, and it's fans feel that it's not been invested properly.
Well, you look on paper, and they've got a strong squad. That was the feeling I got from Gillingham fans. But yeah, you could tell at the end that the home support are very, very unhappy at the moment.
So all in all, in terms of what we're doing and what we're spending on our players and everything else, and I think we're doing pretty well. First season back in this division, like look, I mean, where we are now, we've won 10, drawn 12, and lost 9. So it's pretty much out of the 31 games, it's kind of a third of each, give or take. So, given now that we've got a decent little run, like you said, I think I'd be delighted with a point at Bromley. If we can beat Crawley on Saturday, beat Tranmere, because they're having a nightmare. Hopefully beat Grimsby at home. We could be pushing ourselves into more wins than draws and defeats, and happy days. You can't say much more than that this season. I mean, there'll be people that listening that you said, Andy, about square pegs in round holes. Could we have got more points this season had we played certain? It's all hypothetical now. Who knows? But I like to trust the guys that we've got at the club, the manager, and a strong finish to the season. I'm not saying that he's been playing for a strong finish to the season and he wants to sneak in the playoffs by the back door. I think that's a bit too tactical. But it'd be nice now to sort of have a bit more of a settled side and pick up some wins. I've got no complaints as to where we are this season. I would have liked a few more points, a few more wins on the board, maybe a bit closer to the playoffs. But look at some of the other teams like Tranmere who've been in this division longer than we have. Gillingham, like I said, Barrow look like they could be going down where they are. So yeah, we're doing. I'm more than happy. More than happy. The sun's gone in, or I should say, the clouds have come out. So it's now back to a standard northern Sunday. So I don't know what I'm going to do with myself particularly.
Well, mate, as soon as this finishes, this record, quick, get the TV on. Yeah. England have got Sri Lanka 81 for 7.
Oh, have they?
In reply to 146. I thought that was too low a score. That's not bad.
So that's good for England cricket fans. We've got to give a shout out to poor Dave Bradley, haven't we? Who's been forsaking football for rugby union this weekend, as he does during the Six Nations. England got a tonking by the Irish at Twickenham yesterday. So should we stick with Latics, Dave? I mean, we are basking in the glory of of witnessing a 3-0 win while you watch England. I mean, I don't want England to lose at sport, but I'm not particularly arsed. It's a sport I'm not bothered about. But yeah, that's why I stick with Latics through thick and thin, and take it on the chin. Stop trying to glory hunt, Dave. You're doing it in the wrong place for starters. The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendle-nu-tech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information. When do you think your next game's going to be, James? What's the away schedule?
I'll be at Bromley away.
Bromley, Bromley.
Yeah, an easy one for me to get to. So, and then obviously there aren't too many games left down south. I think I've done the past 3 away games, which I think is the first time I've ever done that.
You were pretty spoilt during the National League. I mean, if that's like an oxymoron, isn't it? But but for Southern games, we went there twice, didn't we? We lost 6-0 on aggregate. So it was Unsworth's first game and Unsworth's last game, wasn't it? Bromley?
Yeah.
So we beat them at home for the first time earlier on this season. I reckon we're going to take 4 points off Bromley this season. I've just got that feeling. I think we're going to go down there and it's going to be a one of those really good away performances where you a low scoring draw and when we take a point back, which I'd be delighted about. So I predict the unbeaten run to stretch to 5 games at least. So I enjoy Bromley.
Thank you.
And don't be a stranger. You're welcome back on a podcast at any time. As is everybody. Are we full up? Are we full up now?
We'll full up this season. Yeah. We put a call out in the week, didn't we? And got a few returning fan guests want to come on and compete on Latics Man again for the end of the season. But yeah, we're done for this season. So if you want to come on next season, then please message us and we'll queue you up, ready to come on.
Absolutely. Right. Let's go and enjoy the rest of our Sunday, gentlemen. Thanks very much for your contributions this morning. It's been very nice to talk about such an emphatic away win. So thanks a lot for that. And thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you for the phone-in on Thursday. Cheers and take care, everyone. Bye.
Hey Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage? Well, what's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave a
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/We Are Oldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Oh. Thank you, listeners.